This is definitely not what I was expecting, but I love it. Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch Can. Today I'm happy to present a few 2023 novelties. We'll take a detailed look at the new capsule collection by Karl F. Bucherer. 5 watches, 2 different case materials, different movements, and a lot of details to discover. The capsule collection is something completely different from what the brand usually produces. The 5 new models that we will take a close look at today are the Manero Flyback Black, the Heritage Bicompax Annual Black, the Manero Peripheral Big Date Black, the Manero Peripheral Perpetual Calendar Black, and last but by no means least, the Manero Tourbillon Double Peripheral Black. Obviously, our watches are super blacked out. It's no coincidence that these watches came out now. 2023 marks the 135th anniversary of the brand Karl F. Bucherer. They started all the way back in 1888 and are still family owned today, something less common in our industry. The spirit of the capsule collection lies in exploring new horizons, traveling, and daring to try something new. I really like how they launched the collection using 5 different major cosmopolitan cities around the world: Tokyo, Shanghai, Zurich, London, and New York. For those of you who don't know much about the company, allow me to give you a few key nuggets. Carl Friedrich Bucherer founded the company with his wife Louise back in 1888, and today it's operated by none other than Mr. Jörg G. Bucherer. The brand created many watches with different calibers, modules, shapes and sizes, and is a traditional Swiss watch brand like we all love. In 2008, they went all in. They created something new and very innovative when they introduced the caliber CFB A1000. CFB obviously for Karl F. Bucherer. A thin movement using the power of a peripheral rotor with a power reserve of 55 hours. The peripheral technology is something that is near and dear to Karl F. Bucherer. In a nutshell, it's a winding rotor which allows for an unobstructed view of the movement. Usually winding rotors cover 30 to 50% of the movement below, depends if they're scrutinized or not. Karl F. Bucherer didn't like that, so they specialized in perfecting this peripheral technology. Because the rotor is around the periphery of the movement, it also allows for a more thin case overall. Usually the rotor is on the top of the movement like a sandwich, but here it's on the side, eliminating crucial millimeters and improving wearability and design. So far they have created 4 different movements with this technology: the A1000 in 2008, the A2000 in 2016, the T3000, which is their floating tourbillon, and my favorite, the MR3000 in 2021, which is their floating tourbillon minute repeater. The last 3 movements are all COSC certified, which is astonishing, especially for the tourbillon minute repeater. I don't know any other, do you? The COSC certification is only given to a movement that's accurate to -4 to +6 seconds a day. The important thing to mention is also that the parts of the peripheral rotor are not fixed on the plates or bridges. Instead, they rotate on a periphery with a type of ceramic ball bearing. It also features a shock absorption system that protects the rotor against impact. So the peripheral winding technology increases visibility of the movement, robustness, efficiency, and what I think is very important, the overall thinness. We will divide the watches here into 2 groups. On the left we got the 2 with a black DLC coated stainless steel case, and on the right the ones with the forged carbon case and titanium container. Comment down below which model you prefer so far, I'm curious to see if we share the same opinion. The stainless steel case is blackened out with DLC coating. This is short for diamond-like carbon. Carbon obviously being the common theme of these 5 watches. The coating process uses carbon as a coating solid. The vaporized carbon atoms are applied on the case and cool down rapidly. The coating improves the robustness, and black cases also just look damn cool. The Manero Flyback, like all the other watches, features a black dial with white inscriptions. The indexes are applied, highly polished and rhodium plated. The hands are rhodium plated and polished as well, and all the hands are slightly scrutinized in the middle, except the long chronograph seconds hand. How do you operate a flyback chronograph, and why is it different from a normal chronograph? Well, you can actually reset the flyback quicker. You start the chrono with the pusher at 2 o'clock and start timing. Once you want to stop timing the first person or object or whatever it is you're timing, you press the pusher at 4 o'clock. That immediately resets the seconds and minutes hand of the chrono to 0 and starts timing the new time. You essentially eliminate the one step in between. With the normal chrono, you'd have to start, stop and start again, but here you can do it indefinitely with just one pusher. On the back we can see the movement, which has a black PVD coated winding rotor, and below it a black chronograph column wheel. Moving on to the Heritage Bicompax Annual Calendar Black model, this one features a chronograph as well as an annual calendar. A complicated watch in the same black look as the others. The annual calendar complication automatically adjusts the date based on the 30 or 31 day months. It is essentially one step behind the Perpetual calendar, which I'll present to you a bit later. The Heritage Bicompax Annual also features a deep black matte lacquer dial and bold numerals to read the time quickly. At 12 o'clock you have the day of the month aperture, and between 4 and 5 you can read the month we're currently in. The chronograph functions is per usual, using 2 pushers to start, stop and reset the time. It's not a flyback. On the back, the watch features an automatic winding rotor, which is in this case skeletonized. It's black PVD coated as well to stay in tune with the overall design. The movement features perlage decoration throughout. And now guys, it's time to talk about the other 3 watches, the ones with the black forged carbon titanium container case and with the peripheral technology inside. The Monero Peripheral Big Date Black is first. The dial is the same as on the previous models, just that we have quite a few pieces of information on it. This model features the day of the week indication at 9 o'clock, the day of the month aperture at 11 o'clock, as well as the power reserve indication at 3 o'clock. At 6 o'clock down below, you've got the running second subdial for the time. The watch is very readable, and the indexes as well as the hands are polished and ruthenium plated. This model, unlike the previous ones, is also limited. It's limited to only 188 pieces worldwide. The carbon case makes the watch really, I think, tough looking. I'm personally a big fan of carbon, especially forged carbon. I love the feel, the texture, the lightness of the material, and just the overall aesthetics. I love how you can see the layers, and if you think about it, each case is essentially unique. So when you buy any of these carbon watches, you technically own a piece unique watch. It's very pleasing to check out the watches from the back as well. The movements are super cool, they're blackened out. The bridges of the A2011 caliber on the Big Date are essentially made of brass with Antra deck coating, Antra for anthracite color, and deck means decorative. The movement is very interesting, the black coating just adds an element of mystery, avant-garde and modernism to it. The 2 centerpieces in this collection for me are the Tourbillon and Perpetual calendar models. As a certified watch geek, this is my wheelhouse, and I always appreciate and enjoy seeing and filming such watches in person. The Monero Peripheral Perpetual calendar is new in the Bucherer collection of watches. It's not the first time the brand made a Perpetual calendar, but it is the first time it features the peripheral technology movement. Aside from the impressive technical feat, I just love how symmetrical the dial is. It's perfectly balanced with the subdials and the brand inscriptions. So this is a Perpetual calendar, guys. At 3 o'clock you can read the day of the month, at 6 o'clock you've got the moon phase disc, at 9 o'clock the day of the week, and at 12 o'clock you have the month indicator as well as the leap year aperture disc. This is a true Perpetual calendar and considered to be one of watchmaking's most complex complications. To keep it short and simple, the Perpetual calendar needs no setting, just a first time. The mechanism automatically knows when to skip at the end of the 30 or 31 day months, as well as the end of February. It knows which year is a leap year, so you don't need to worry about that for as long as you live or own the watch. Of course, all relying on the fact that you'll wind the watch consistently. This model has a power reserve of 55 hours, so you can take it off from time to time. You have also correctors on the side of the case to set the calendar quickly. Don't worry, you don't have to use the crown for the whole thing. The most impressive detail about this model for me is the moon phase indication. The 2 moons are set on a disc of aventurine and are hand engraved in 18 karat white gold. A small detail that for me makes a big difference. There are 2 moons displayed because it shows the state of the moon in both the northern and the southern hemisphere. The symmetry does it for me, something I can't emphasize enough. What is also cool is that this is a Perpetual calendar in a forged carbon case. Usually complicated watches like this come in precious metals. It's very refreshing for me and bold to put it in a forged carbon case. I just love the contrast of it. On the back we have the same caliber A2000 as a base with the additional Perpetual calendar in-house developed module on top, making it the caliber A2055. This is also a peripheral technology movement with the same bridges in Antra deck coating and decorated with Côte de Genève. This model is even more limited than the Big Date to only 88 pieces. Wait until the end of the video as I will also put the price tag on all these watches, and let me tell you guys, this one just might surprise you because I really think it's very competitively priced. Last but by no means least is the Monero Tourbillon Double Peripheral Black. The floating tourbillon is something that is, from what I know, unique to Bucherer. Who doesn't love a tourbillon, guys? The big cage just 12 o'clock is ticking away, displaying the passing of the seconds and adding a mesmerizing effect to the wearing experience. Why double peripheral? Well, it's simple really. The first one is because of the peripheral rotor, like on the previous models, and the second peripheral uses for the tourbillon. Here we have the caliber T3000, a COSC certified tourbillon, which is just a dream. The tourbillon is not flying but floating. The cage isn't held in place either from the front nor the backside. It's held in place on the periphery, or to put it simply, on the side. It's fully see-through, which is cool when you put it against the sun or the light. The movement has a power reserve of 65 hours, Côte de Genève decoration on the bridge, as well as the anti-deck coating. I love this small linear opening in the middle of the movement and the sunken polished hole where the tourbillon is. The bridges of all the peripheral movements also feature polished edges and mirror polished screws. I like the dial a lot. I like it because it's simple. You have the applied and polished ruthenium coated indexes and hands, the logo and the tourbillon. If you have a chance to see this watch in person, take a look to it. Look at the floating tourbillon and you will see all the tiny components making it beat. It's very mesmerizing and definitely something I need in my collection. A tourbillon was and still is a grail to have in the collection. I advise you to click the links in my video description to really dive deep into the technology behind the movements here. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. This model is also competitively priced and limited to only 30 pieces worldwide. For those who are curious, let me give you the price points on all the models. So the Monero Flyback and the Heritage Bicompax Annual are priced at 7,800 Swiss francs and 8,600 Swiss francs. For the type of movement and the overall watch, I think it's very well positioned. The forged carbon pieces are priced as follows. The Monero Peripheral Big Date is priced at 22,000 Swiss francs, the Monero Peripheral Perpetual Calendar 35,000 Swiss francs, and the Monero Tourbillon Double Peripheral costs 58,000 Swiss francs. If you compare these watches with what's on the market today, which won't be easy, the prices seem fair to me. As I always say, go see the watch in person and make your own opinion. Never judge a watch purely by what you see online. Here you can also see and read all the case proportions of these new models. Its sizes we're all used to, and there's a watch for everyone here. The straps are also very special. Each model has a different design which I really love. They all feature bi-material rubber straps which are really comfortable and sporty. Let me know what you think about this new capsule collection by Karl F. Bucherer. What do you think about the brand and which model is your favorite from the 5? Go give them a follow, I will link everything in the video description below. I thank also the brand for being a partner of my channel, I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you next week.